Up causes big trouble in the east. 7 teenagers falling through thawed ice in Central Park.
If I didn't grab him a second later, he was gone.
Inside, the daring rescue.
New details about President Trump's revised travel ban and a surprise announcement of a new national security advisor.
General H.R. McMaster will become the national security advisor.
The general receives praise from both parties as Vice President Pence tries to soothe rattled nerves overseas.
Deadly disaster. New images of that devastating plane crash that killed 4 American tourists and a pilot, ripping through the roof of an Australian mall just seconds after takeoff. The aircraft suffering catastrophic engine failure. 90 firefighters on the scene trying to battle the blaze.
And the American television exclusive, one-on-one with Angelina Jolie, opening up about her divorce from Brad Pitt, how their family is getting through it.
We will be stronger when we come out of this because that's what we're determined to do.
What she says about Brad as a father and the role her kids are playing in her new passion project. It's only on GMA this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. We have a lot to get to on this Tuesday morning, and you just spoke with Angelina Jolie.
That is right. She is in Cambodia right now for the premiere of her new film. It's about that country, the genocide there, and a real story of heroism as well. You know, that country holds such a special place in her heart. It's where she met and adopted her first son, Maddox, who worked very closely on this film. She opens up about that and what's next for her family, and that exclusive, that's just ahead.
You know, I'm looking forward to see that. Can't wait to see that, George. But first, we're going to look at the dangerous storm that's hitting the West right now. And ABC's Neil Karlinski, he's in Sacramento, California with the latest. And Neil, they just saw record rainfall yesterday. Good morning to you.
Michael, good morning. This is what happens when you get so much rain and wind in such a short period of time. Just look at the huge tree that's come down over here, and just look at these roots. All of this just a small slice of the mess that's been left behind out here this morning. This morning, California's rivers bursting their banks as another storm pounds the area. Heavy rain sparking landslides across the state, making some roads impassable. Overnight, a levee breaking along the San Joaquin River. More than 500 people fleeing the area.
We had to evacuate in a hurry, just hurry.
In Modesto, police going door to door, evacuating residents.
Is there any medical emergencies here?
Where the floodwaters are rising. And in San Jose, the fire department jumping on inflatable rafts to rescue 2 people trapped by the roaring river. California is not the only state battered by brutal weather. This morning, Texas cleaning up after 4 confirmed tornadoes hit Sunday night and early Monday morning. Hundreds of homes damaged.
It's kind of like a sonic boom.
The wind so strong it took down all 12 cars on this train. And take a look at how the wind bent this transmission tower like a paperclip. On the East Coast in New York City, the warm weather's brought its own dangers. 7 people falling into an icy pond in Central Park.
We saw kids just thrashing in the water, and the ones in the back were screaming. They had their backpacks on.
Good Samaritans Bennett Jonas and Ethan Turnbull rescuing the teens out of the freezing water. Authorities now treating 6 of them for hypothermia.
If I didn't get to those last couple of kids in the back, they weren't getting out.
Amazingly, that happened because the kids were taking selfies of all things, jumping up and down on the ice, according to witnesses. They're lucky to have survived. Back out here, that levee breach, by the way, has been patched for now, Michael.
All right, thank you, Neil. Now let's go to Ginger for more on those flood warning and watches this morning. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you. You can see that image behind me. The Don Pedro Spillway Gate actually opened for the first time in 20 years. And you can see the road just crushed by the water there. That's why they're getting folks out of Modesto so that water, as it gets there later this afternoon, will hopefully not affect people. They'll be out of there. Flood watches and warnings, you can say, throughout the Sierra and the foothills, even a flash flood warning there. San Francisco, for example, has more than doubled their February average rainfall total already, and we're still going. This pattern is really set in stone. The tropical connection to out there just south of Hawaii, Michael, will leave a couple more inches of rain, certainly a very windy morning.
Well, hopefully there's some relief in sight.
Hopefully so.
Okay, we're going to move on now to President Trump announcing his new choice for National Security Advisor, General H.R. McMaster. That's, of course, after firing General Michael Flynn. And the president was also gearing up to issue a revised travel ban. ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega has all the latest. Good morning, Cecilia.
George, good morning to you. Even the president's staunchest critics are praising this new NSA pick. And with this move, the White House is now trying to move past one of the biggest controversies of this month-old presidency. President Trump's national security team now in place following that surprise announcement in his Mar-a-Lago clubhouse.
General H.R. McMaster will become the national security advisor.
Right there on the couch next to the president, the general who accepted the job.
And I look forward to joining the national security team.
You're going to do a great job.
General H.R. McMaster is considered one of the Army's leading intellectuals, but he was not the president's first choice. Michael Flynn was fired for lying about his contacts with Russia, and the president's second choice declined the job. But McMaster is raking in the praise from both parties. Republican Senator John McCain called him an outstanding choice, and the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee calls McMaster a solid choice, bright and strategic. With his team set, the president is expected to sign a new travel ban executive order this week. The first one at the center of so much protest, including the Not My President's Day protests taking place in several cities around the country. Currently, that ban held up in court. Senior White House officials tell ABC News a draft of the new order targets the same 7 majority Muslim countries as the original. But the new draft does not have an indefinite ban on refugees from Syria. Now, also in this new draft, a clarification that was not in the first one. People from those 7 majority Muslim countries who have permanent U.S. residency or dual citizenship would not face any restrictions. Robin, again, the president expected to sign that this week sometime.
That's right. All right, Cecilia. And overseas, President Trump is facing public anger and attacks from the British Parliament as Vice President Pence tried to reassure America's NATO allies. ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran, has the latest. He joins us this morning from London. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Robin. Well, President Trump has become priority #1 for Europeans. It's not just government leaders trying to figure out the new American regime. It's also that the president dominates conversations over here and sparks protests. So for top U.S. officials, there's a lot of work to be done. This morning, Vice President Mike Pence is back in the U.S. after his mission to reassure rattled allies in Europe. Across Europe, President Trump is stirring controversy and unease. Parliament debating a petition signed by nearly 2 million Britons demanding that Mr. Trump's trip here later this year be downgraded.
We should not be inviting him to preach hatred and to spread his bigotry, his misogyny, and his division.
President Trump doesn't back down, taking to Twitter once again, target Sweden. Tweeting, "Give the public a break. The fake news media is trying to say that large-scale immigration in Sweden is working out just beautifully. Not." This after the president's gaffe over the weekend.
You look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden. Who would believe this?
But nothing happened that night in Sweden. No attacks. Crime rates overall are low. Later, President Trump taking to Twitter to explain that his statement was in reference to a story that was broadcast on Fox News concerning immigrants in Sweden. And the whole kerfuffle drew a pointed response from the Swedish Prime Minister.
We must all take responsibility for using facts correctly and for verifying any information that we spread.
Okay, there is a major substantive issue here, and it's the American commitment to Europe, especially a defense commitment. President Trump has called that into question. He's blasted NATO as obsolete, scorned the EU, and it will take more than nice words from Mike Pence to repair that breach.
That is true. Okay, Terry, thanks very much. Let's talk about this more now with our Chief Global Affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz. Also, Chief White House Correspondent John Carl down in Washington. Martha, let me begin with you. General H.R. McMaster, you know him well respected inside the military and kind of the opposite of a yes man.
He's the opposite of a yes man. He wrote the book Dereliction of Duty, saying the Joint Chiefs of Staff should have spoken up during the Vietnam War. And the one thing, the big difference to me between Mike Flynn and H.R. McMaster is H.R. McMaster is nonpartisan, apolitical. I cannot imagine him ever getting up in front of a political convention and saying anything. He will speak back to President Trump in any way he can, but the downside here is he has no experience in Washington, D.C. really at all.
He's an active duty, three-star general, and from what we know, has views at odds with President Trump on issues like Russia.
Certainly Russia wants to be tough on Russia. In Iraq was very much, I remember many times being with H.R. McMaster, very welcoming to the Iraqi people. He'll have some things to say about that ban. If it doesn't go well, I'm sure we'll certainly be getting Iraqi interpreters in this.
And John, on that ban, the president really probably will come later this week, the aim to make this bulletproof in the courts.
That is exactly the goal here, is making sure that this is something that can withstand the constitutional challenge in the courts. And it's a very different process this time, George, and that's why we're not seeing it immediately. I don't expect it till the end of this week at the very earliest, because it is going through an extensive internal vetting process here. The president now has his national security cabinet in place. They will be weighing in on this, including Attorney General Sessions, Secretary Kelly over at the Department of Homeland Security. This will not be rushed through. They want to be sure they get it right this time, that it can withstand the challenge in court.
No internal vetting of those comments about Sweden, and what a diplomatic incident they have created.
Yeah, it's something else. You know, that there was the official Swedish Twitter account, which is actually controlled each week by a Swedish citizen, had an interesting tweet. We have about around 100 murders per year. That's like 2 days in the U.S., 2 days. You know, the bottom line is Sweden has taken in a lot of immigrants, about 200,000 refugees over the last few years. But there is no sign, at least yet, of any kind of a major spike in crime in Sweden.
Okay, John
let alone
Carl.
terrorism.
John Carl Martharedis, thanks very much.
All right, George. Now to a scare at Jewish community centers all across the country. The FBI is investigating a series of bomb threats. ABC's senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington, has more details on that. Good morning, Pierre.
Good morning, Robin. There's been a wave of anti-Semitism targeting Jewish community centers. 11 bomb threats yesterday alone. More than 54 Jewish centers have been targeted in 27 states since the beginning of the year. And while no bombs have been found, the FBI is investigating these threatening calls as possible civil rights violations, potential hate crimes.
And Pierre, many are hoping that this administration would take a more forceful approach in addressing these incidents of racism and anti-Semitism. What are we hearing from the White House?
Last night, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer released a statement saying that the president believes such actions are, quote, unacceptable, and that, quote, hatred and hate-motivated violence of any kind in this country has no place. The president's daughter, Ivanka, who is Jewish, also released a tweet last night saying, America is a nation built on the religious principle of tolerance. We must protect our houses of worship and religious centers. Robin?
All right, Pierre, thank you.
Hey, Robin, we have new details now about the plane crash that killed 4 American tourists and a pilot in Australia. Authorities there are calling it the worst civil aviation accident in 30 years, and ABC's Lama Hassan has the story. Good morning, Lama.
Yeah, good morning to you, George. This morning we're learning more about the victims. 4 American tourists, 2 of them were from Texas. All were reportedly on a golfing trip of a lifetime, sadly ending just minutes after their chartered plane took off. Just moments after the pilot reported catastrophic engine failure, the plane carrying 4 American tourists and an Australian pilot crashed into an outlet mall, killing everyone on board. The mall was 45 minutes from opening.
A charter plane, a twin-engine plane, left the Essendon airport and shortly after takeoff had a catastrophic engine failure. The pilot has then unfortunately attempted to return to Essendon but has crashed into the DFO at Essendon Fields.
The fire and smoke visible by drivers from the nearby highway. Ripping through the mall roof, causing a large explosion. Thick plumes of black smoke coming from what was left of the plane. Debris scattered everywhere.
This was a very intense, very nasty fire, but our highly skilled and trained firefighters have done an outstanding job in extinguishing that blaze.
Emergency crews responding within minutes. A total of 90 firefighters on the scene to extinguish the massive fireball caused by the crash. The sister of Greg DeHaven, one of the Americans killed, tells ABC News that he was on vacation with a group of friends and their wives, posting on Facebook, "My handsome, athletic big brother was killed today in a plane accident while on his once-in-a-lifetime trip to Australia." Now, the mall was right at the end of the runway where their Beechcraft airplane was taking off. The pilot made 2 distress calls before crashing into the mall, and authorities are calling it, quote, a desperately sad day. George.
Oh, it is sad. Okay, Lama, thank you very much. Michael?
All right, George, now to a major security breach at one of America's busiest airports. 11 passengers somehow getting through a metal detector that wasn't staffed and boarding flights at New York's JFK Airport. ABC's David Curley has new details. Good morning, David.
Morning, Michael. A serious breach of security is what one of our security experts is calling this at one of these checkpoints at JFK. It happened with 11 people walking through a metal detector, but there was nobody manning the TSA area. 3 of those passengers actually set off that detector and continued into the security area, the gate area, because nobody was manning that position. Now, it was at 6 a.m. that they walked through. It wasn't until 8 a.m. that TSA called the Port Authority police to tell them about the incident.
3 passengers in the restricted terminal area without being screened. They have video footage of it.
In a statement, TSA says it is confident this incident presents no threat to security, adding that after review, employees will be reprimanded and retrained. As for those 3 passengers, when they landed in San Francisco, because they got on their plane without being checked, they were re-screened. Imagine their surprise, Michael, when they showed up in San Francisco at their destination and had to get re-screened at that point.
Things went a little bit backwards.
Yeah, just a little bit. David, thank you very much. And how does something like that happen at the gap of time? As well, it is. Now let's go to Amy with the morning's other top stories, starting with a vigil there in Southern California.
That's right. Good morning, everyone. And hundreds of people gathered in a Los Angeles suburb to honor a veteran police officer killed while responding to a traffic accident that resulted in a firefight. Police say the driver who shot Officer Keith Boyer and wounded another officer is a gang member who was granted early release from jail 1 week ago and killed his cousin Monday before stealing his car. He is now in custody after being shot in that firefight. And in Colorado, fire crews worked through the night containing this fast-moving brush fire in Boulder County. Dozens of homes were evacuated as flames engulfed 4 buildings during the unusually warm and windy weather. In Texas, authorities say it could cost $100 million to rebuild after 4 tornadoes hit the San Antonio area. More than 150 homes were damaged. One family hid under a mattress to stay safe as that tornado approached. Well, the CEO of Uber has hired former Attorney General Eric Holder to investigate sexual harassment charges against that company. Holder will look into claims made by a former engineer who says Uber's management ignored a pattern of sexism that forced many women to quit. Well, a potential merger in the fast food industry. The company that owns Burger King is reportedly close to striking a deal to buy Popeye's chicken for as much as $1.7 billion.
Just don't mess with the recipe.
All right, you heard it from Robin. Don't mess with the recipe. Finally, a warning from Pope Francis about the dangers of texting while at the dinner table. He says it could lead to war. The Pope warned a group of students that the lack of face-to-face communication in today's society is pulling families apart. He says that face-to-face dialogue brings our hearts together and is a medicine against violence. He says it's the start of war because there's no dialogue. Now, my children would disagree. They say they are communicating just fine via text. Anyway,
Now we have a new
Francis
argument at
says-
the dinner table.
No, exactly. I'm going to use the Pope next time.
There you go,
Pope
Amy.
says you can't do that.
By any means necessary, you'll do that. Beautiful picture there behind you there, Ginger.
It is so beautiful, but it's a little off. The magnolia trees in Memphis are blooming 3 weeks early. And so the folks at the Botanic Garden are like, you know, this is not normal. No, it is not normal. It's not normal either to have 5 days in a row in the 60s, which Chicago will do, first time ever in recorded history in February. There's a look at the mild weather. It will end, of course. Let's go ahead and get to the Tuesday trivia brought to you by Quicken Loans.
You could spend the next few days weeding through W-2s, pay stubs, and bank statements to refinance your home. Or you could push that button. Skip the bank, skip the paperwork, and go completely online. Securely share your financial info and confidently get an accurate mortgage solution in minutes. Lift the burden of getting a home loan with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans.
And a very good morning, meteorologist Brian Vandegraff. Outside today, lots of cloud cover, but still mid, probably even some upper 50s out there. We still have a little bit of a southerly flow to our wind, and even though it's not going to feel as nice as yesterday at 68, we're still well above the average of 48. Now, as we head through the evening, we'll have a fair amount of clouds around, temperatures in the 40s. Tomorrow, mix of clouds and sunshine, definitely warmer. Could be a sprinkler, too. Look at that high tomorrow in the 60s, back into the 70s as we head through Thursday and Friday.
And coming up here on GMA, the American television exclusive, Angelina Jolie speaks out about her new film and her divorce from bad Brad Pitt.
We are focusing on the health of our family, and so we will be stronger when we come out of this.
Plus, the role her kids are